Good evening. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for December 4th, 2019. This meeting is being audio and visually recorded for the open meeting laws of the state of Massachusetts. Tonight we're going to have two different special permits, 7 Phillips Way and 34 Mass Ave, 194 Main Street, the residents of Norfolk Station. We will vote on a continuation. And at this time, I will turn it over to the folks at 34 Mass Ave to talk to us about their special permit request.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Glenn Jensen, and this is my wife, Cynthia.
You know what, Glenn? Deb made a good point. We have not opened this public hearing yet, so we first have to read the public hearing request. Thank you, Devin. Devin, do you want to do that for us tonight?
Sure. Notice is hereby given in accordance with Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws and all amendments thereto, that a public hearing will be held by the Zoning Board of Appeals in Room 124 at the Norfolk Municipal Building on Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, for the following application. Glenn and Cynthia Woodford Jensen at 7 p.m. for a special permit pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 9 as amended, in Section F4A of the Norfolk zoning bylaws to allow the alteration or enlargement of an existing non-conforming structure which does not violate the setback, coverage, or height requirements of the Norfolk zoning bylaws H2F3, but does not violate those requirements to a greater extent than the original structure. The property is located at 34 Massachusetts Avenue, Assessor's Map 16, Block 34, Lot 265 in the R3 zoning district, and is adjacent to the open space parcel of a subdivision.
Thank you, Devin. Glenn, I apologize. Go ahead.
Thank you. Yeah, so we, Cynthia and I, we would like to put a three-season porch at the back of our house. This past summer, we said, we don't have any intentions of moving out of town or anything like that. And we're surrounded by woods, so we put the plans together, and we're finding out. So you can see from the map there, or the diagram, that when the house was built, the front of the house was 15 feet 4 inches from the property line with the open space. And the way the house is situated, when you get to the back of the house where we plan to begin the porch, that's approximately 25 feet and a few inches away from the property line. So since the house was built in 2001, zoning things have changed, and now the zoning requirements that we understand is it's 25 feet if it's situated next to a house. If you're situated to a piece of property where there's a house next to it, but we found out afterwards it's 30 feet if it's open space. So there's a difference between 5 feet whether it's a residential property next to you, or 30 feet if it's a open space. So our special permit is to ask for the back of the house where the porch is to be built. That begins at roughly 25 feet and a few inches, and then with the property line, it's the same contour of the house, and by going back 18 feet, which would be the length of the three-season porch, it'd be approximately 31 feet away from the open space. So the front of the house would be 15 feet, and basically the end of the new structure would be about twice that distance. So we're asking for basically the permit to be able to build that, recognizing that we're further away from the property line in the beginning of the house, and we'll wind up even further away once the structure is built.
Okay. That's it?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Questions for him? Tim?
I have nothing.
Josie?
My only question is, so this plan before us, so this shows that proposed addition is what you're proposing?
Correct.
Okay.
Question? Question?
Yes. Is there a foundation under this three-season porch?
No, there's no foundation. We would have the, all these.
Like it's on pilings? And
They're going to be based on what they call helical piers, which is okayed by the building department, because the contractor made sure before he went through all this process it was totally acceptable.
Okay. So there's no concrete foundation? Is what
Correct, there is not.
Okay. So there's no way to access it from the cellar of the existing house?
No, it's open.
Okay.
How wide is it gonna be? Do you know what the width of the?
It's gonna be the width of the back of that is our family room, so that's 16 feet. So it'll be 16,
Okay.
it'll be the exact same width as the family room is.
So 16 by roughly 18.
Correct.
And then you're adding on the interior, just adding some kind of, looks like a sauna, or
No, we have a,
is that out there already, though?
there's a portable portable
Okay.
movable hot tub.
Okay. So that's pre-existing.
Yes, it's there now.
Any other questions? Non-conforming pre-existing, no more detrimental than the original structure. Okay, okay. All right, very good.
That's it?
We have a couple more hearings tonight. If we can, we'll try to deliberate this evening, and you can see Amy afterwards and tomorrow, and we'll then have this written up.
Super. Thank you very much.
Either way, okay? Thank you for coming in. You wanna, you didn't, I figured. You'll confuse it more than that. We do have to fix that. Yeah.
Yes, no.
So I make a motion to close the public hearing for
Yeah, Devin, can I see sign? Yes, Devin. Devin, please make a motion to close the public
I
hearing.
make a motion to close the public hearing for 34 Massachusetts Avenue.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Devin. I'm slipping tonight, aren't I? All right, next, we have 7 Phillips Way, 3 special permits. Devin, would you mind reading the notice of public hearing?
Notice is hereby given in accordance with Chapter 40A of the Massachusetts General Laws and any and all amendments thereto, that a public hearing will be held by the Zoning Board of Appeals in Room 124 at the Norfolk Municipal Building on Wednesday, December 4th, 2019, for the following application. AA and JB Realty LLC at 7 p.m. for 3 special permits pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 9, as amended in Section J7A2B of the Norfolk zoning bylaws to allow a contractor's headquarters in an off-highway area and to allow outdoor storage of more than 3 commercial vehicles limited to the rear yard in Section F7E of the Norfolk zoning bylaws to allow parking in the front yard of a commercial building. The property is located at 7 Phillips Way, Assessors Map 18, Block 69, lots 41 and 12, and is in the C1 zoning district.
Thank you, Devin. Good evening.
Good evening, Jim Soucy with United Consultants. The overall project you can see is this lot that is fronted on Phillips Way, and a much larger parcel that was purchased by the owners. If you can go to sheet 3. Oh, okay. Green button's the green button? Okay, great. So you can see this is kind of flipped from the cover sheet. So here is Phillips Way as it ends there. Here is the parcel that the building will be going on, and here is the rest of the parcel that will be used for material stockpiles, and in this area here is the sedimentation forebay and infiltration pond, and there currently exists a 40-foot wide swale, for lack of a better term, that's catching runoff from the other abutting lots that was part of the Shire Park approval. And then this area here, it was supposed to continue along at the 40-foot width, but you can see that it's been expanded a little bit. So rather than try to fight through the motions of filling it back to where it was supposed to be, we've just left it there, worked around it, and it actually becomes part of the overall drainage system. So again, I mean, where this building is located, down the end of Phillips Way, it's all woods around it, so the abutters on, this side over here, nobody's ever gonna see what's going on there, be affected by the noise or anything like that. It's really kind of secluded. The one thing is the parking we have along the front side of the building here. I had laid it out a couple of different ways, and putting the parking there seemed to work best to get the fire apparatus in and out of around the building. If I, in other words, the fire truck can come in here now, make the turn, make the swing, and get out, or he comes in this way, makes a swing, and heads out. If I move this parking to the back side of the building and move the building to here, I wasn't able to get the fire truck around. So that's why I have it on that side of the building. And again, where we are located in town at the very end of that industrial park, I really didn't think that anybody would find it extremely offensive.
All right, anything else?
That's about it. I mean, Mr. Brolin, one of the partners in AAJB, has another company, Sports Turf Specialties, which right now are down on Cushing Drive in Rentham.
Right.
They do sports fields all over the country. So this is going to be more of a stockpile area for him, for some of his soils, because they use some extremely manufactured soils. Shall we say, like under the football fields, they use what's called a root zone mixture, which is 90% sand and 10% organics. They do up infield mix per Major League Baseball specifications. So, excuse me, a lot of that's happening at Cushing, and he needs a place to put it after it's done. There will be no retail coming out of here whatsoever. It's strictly a stockpile area for the business.
Okay. And will this be his headquarters, or is that the plan, or?
The office, he'll still have his office down on Kenneth Minor Drive.
Okay.
This will be just a storage yard. When they need material, they'll come over and get it. When they don't need material, nobody will be there.
Jim, any questions?
Just to help me out on the parking again,
Sure.
all the parking is onto the front of the building?
I've got parking there, and I've got parking here with the handicap access. These are where the front doors are. There's a couple overhead doors in the back. So I've got parking here with the handicap, and then some parking over in that area.
In the bigger site to the back there, that's all for outdoor storage?
Correct.
And you said it's wooded around it? Is the property
Yeah, I mean,
fenced?
currently, right now, about this portion of Phillips Way is kind of an open gravel road.
Yeah.
And then everything from there all the way through is wooded. There's an existing building here now that's partly under construction, has been for years. And there's a wood line against us. It's kind of running right down the property line there against there. So, I mean, this site, even with us opening up things to construct what we need to construct, it's still pretty fairly isolated.
Is there any proposed lighting on the back lot?
No, because there is security lighting around the building, but there's no lighting intended to be out back.
Okay. Thank you.
Those any questions?
Excuse me. Has this all been through the planning board?
We are scheduled to be before the planning board on the 14th, I believe it was, yeah. I just got the notice to give to the abutters today, so we're scheduled to meet with them on the 14th. I believe plans have already been forwarded to Beta,
They have, they're in the process of
So
doing
we're
the peer
hoping to-
review report.
at least have the first round of comments back before that hearing.
Okay, so the planning board's gonna cover, the
The Site,
site planning. and-
correct, site with stormwater,
The swale.
as well.
And Another question. So you have the parking located on the Phillips Way side. Was there a reason why you couldn't locate it like towards, like at the rear of the lot?
The backside.
Yeah.
Again, if I pull the building over, then I had difficulty getting the fire truck around the building, you know, to give them 360 around the
Yep.
building.
Okay, so that, okay. The fire truck access was the reason?
Correct.
Okay.
The commercial vehicles, they would be stored where the material is? Is that where you?
They would either be, you know, behind the building,
Okay.
over here, or possibly up in that area there near the stockpiles.
But no set parking for those?
No.
Okay. Okay.
It looks like I just want to verify, to the property line, the building is 46.53, 46 and a half, whatever it is, right there. Do I have the right measurement in there?
On this one here?
Yeah, from the building over to
the
the
street.
property line.
Again, this is kind of fuzzy.
If I'm looking at this measurement right here,
That's actually, that's property line distance.
property line, from the building.
In other words, no.
Oh.
In other words, from the corner of the property line
Yep.
to where it changes bearing.
Okay,
Another-
I'm looking for the distance from here to the property line.
On this corner of the building, we're 54.6.
Okay.
To the street, we're 52.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
answers my question easily. And look, I'm just curious, maybe the chairman can answer me, that looks like the proposed building on the adjacent lot is like 10 or 15
It's
feet to
whatever,
the property
it's
line?
whatever the bare minimum setback was at
Oh,
the
okay.
time.
That may not be the scale, the.
Oh, no, it's the set, because we did the site plan for that building.
What is the setback in a commercial district like
Hold
that?
on, let's go to the cover sheet. And it should have the zoning information right down there on the lower left.
Okay, side yard, 10 feet. Okay, that answers that. That's why it looks so small, looks so close, okay?
It is very close.
I wasn't wondering so much how close you were, I was just
Yeah,
wondering.
no, I kept us back to give us
Great.
some separation, so we didn't have them back to back.
Yep. And to drive back to your area, it's, as I'm looking at the road, so to speak, or whatever, is that, look,
This area right here,
no, to drive back into your material stockpile area?
oh, correct. So there would be one of two ways to get there. One would be just come off the end of the pavement here across a gravel road and up and in, or anybody or any vehicles coming from this area here would come across this, and then we have a recycled asphalt rampway that goes up to it.
Jim, what's abutting it on the left-hand side? Do you know what's abutting on the far left?
This way over here,
Yeah,
I believe it's a parcel owned by Joe LaRusso.
okay.
Which then fronts out on 115.
Again.
It fronts out on 115,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Rick, do you know if Phillips Way is a public or private? I
It's,
put you in the hot seat, I'm sorry.
no. It's subdivision that the town needs to complete to be accepted as a public way. There was a bankruptcy, and so it's in limbo as far as the ownership goes right now. It's intended to be a
Yeah.
public way, but it's on our list.
Only concern I have is if the vehicles are driving back towards the like stockpile area.
Yep.
Just if there's like a stabilization for that, so they're not just tracking, if it does become a public way, then they're not tracking, you know, mud, debris, everything else. But that can be addressed in the planning board
Yeah,
stages.
because I believe when we laid out this section of the driveway, We laid it out to the standard width and standard construction details in case it ever got extended for some reason. In other words, the piece that's in front of our lot, we built to standard so that we wouldn't get into the hole, well, that's just a paper street. You have no frontage. No, we have frontage, and we've improved our frontage, I believe, to the minimum that's required for frontage in that area, so that we have improved roadway along our frontage.
Okay. All right.
But to your question, if there does become an issue with vehicles coming off the, the end of the pavement here and coming up, creating erosion or some kind of problem like that, I believe the first thing they would probably do is to make another, just extend this instead of with pavement, with the recycled pavement, so that it's down, it's as good as pavement, and it, whatever disturbances have been happening won't happen anymore.
I just don't know the area. I haven't been down to Phillips Way, so I don't know what that actually looks like.
Lovely
but-
place. Bring your lunch down there sometime.
Yeah. But I just don't want it, just if the vehicles are just traveling over that every single day, to get to the stockpile areas, it turns to mud, and then it becomes a headache for
Yeah.
everyone.
No, I understand.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Do we have a motion to close? Any other questions before we close the public hearing? Rich, do you have anything to add to this one?
No, you have a public question.
Hmm?
We have questions from the
Public.
public.
Oh, we do, okay.
Chris Henry, 30 Boardman. So the area with the larger area where the circles are, is that going to be a paved area?
No, it's
Okay.
going to be a grass.
Can you park commercial vehicles on an unpaved area like that for storage?
What would be the concern?
Leaking?
Hmm?
Leaking, oils, transmission fluid, that sort of thing. I know the public well is close proximity. Just a consideration, if we're going to allow parking there, maybe there should be some sort of impervious surface there, or we say the parking happens within the paved area.
This area here.
Yeah. And is there any limitation to the number of vehicles that would be allowed?
I believe we requested 3.
Well, the special permit's for commercial vehicles in the rear, more than 3. So that's what he's asking for that.
That's what I'm asking. Is there a limit to that? Like, could it be 25?
He hasn't asked for a limit, no.
So it would be unlimited?
Hmm?
Is that something that the board could ask for and say, hey, can't be more than
We could.
5 or so? Okay. Okay. And is this is like off of Shire? Is that what it is?
It's if you come up, I believe it's Sharon Ave.
Sharon Ave. Yep.
You go up, and then if you
Like
take,
MAS and Island Light and Power.
go all the way to the end where it joins with Shire,
Yep.
and you take a right.
Okay.
That's Phillips Way, and it goes to that cul-de-sac.
So like where that
That-
masonry building that was abandoned is?
Yes, right.
This is right? where-
That's
right
that
there?
building there.
Perfect.
There's the cul-de-sac if you drive up there.
That's all I was trying to get an idea of. Thank you.
Ready?
Jim, the area that Chris just mentioned, that is gonna be turf grass, right?
Correct.
So what is underneath the turf grass? Because turf grass is not a real grass, correct, or is it? What is the makeup?
The exact seed mix that he's going to use, I can't tell you right now.
Okay,
I could bring him in, but then you would have a 2.5-hour lesson on grass.
so this is grass he actually grows for,
In other words, they'll
Projects?
put down, no, they'll probably put down loam
yeah,
and hydroseed it so it starts to grow to, keep all the erosion and dust and whatnot down.
okay.
And it won't really be affected too much by the traffic coming in and out. It's a fairly sturdy type of grass.
And what kind of materials, do you know what kind of, is it loam he's stockpiling?
Again, it would probably be some loam, some pea stone or rice stone,
Right.
some of the root zone mix, infield mix, some of the other soil blends that they have.
So just a point of clarification, Mr. Chairman, so the vehicle storage will have to be on pavement, it can't be on...
Right, so we can store them in this area here off the back of the building.
Okay.
So that's gonna be, where are you gonna store them, Jim?
Over here?
Yeah, where you have pavement, okay.
Correct.
So where's your line of turf grass and pavement there? Is that right
Pretty
where the
much
dumpster is?
right
or-
here, well, this line right here
Okay.
is the granite curbing.
Okay,
So on the building side, it will be paved. On the left-hand side of it, that will all be some sort of vegetation.
So you'd be fine with a condition saying you can only store vehicles on pavement?
Yeah, not a problem.
And you can still get your emergency vehicles around if you park over there also?
If there's vehicles parked here, no, that may be an issue, but, we can probably get them three sides. Or again, if there's an emergency at the site, chances are one of the owners will be there and will have the keys to move those vehicles out of the way so the fire trucks can get in.
We'll have to have a better plan than that,
yeah,
actually. so.
yeah.
What hardships would be incurred to, where it says transition curb on this plan? Okay, if you were to move that line out onto turf grass and extend that pavement out an appropriate number of
This
feet?
area here,
Yeah, just,
move that out.
just move that out so that it would meet the provisions of the fire truck making a turn. I mean, what type of hardships involved there in terms of minimizing the turf grass?
I would say from a design standpoint, there's really no hardship. I'm sure that when we get comments back from Beta, we're gonna have some other changes that will be made. I don't think I'm good enough to get it through in one shot.
That's a fair answer. Okay.
Could we condition in such a way that the emergency access would be addressed, would have to be addressed like during like the planning board stages?
So
Or the storage of vehicles can't impede?
Well, we can determine, right now, you can do up to 3 commercial vehicles. We can determine whether we want to allow them to do more.
Yeah.
And if so, we can condition it as to how many more in the back. So we could do that. But we can't condition the planning board.
Yeah, you can't condition another board.
So the only,
Again, just quick comment. This is the turning analysis that was done for the fire truck. And you can see it makes the swing in off of Phillips and then is right along the curb line to get all the way around the building. So, you know, we could have vehicles up to probably 25 or 30 feet behind the building and not impede the fire apparatus.
Could you let us know what the distance is from the building to that emergency access?
Looks like it's about 25 feet.
No, it looks more than that.
No, look at his, just look at his scale. 1 foot equals 20, 1 inch equals 20.
Well, I'm just looking at the other side of the building.
Well, just look at his scale.
Okay.
Take your pen. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Jim, do you have any idea what he's looking for commercial vehicles in addition to what's allowed?
I would say it's probably gonna be a couple of front-end loaders or something like that.
So that would be the added vehicles as
To work
opposed
the
to 3.
stockpiles, yeah.
me.
guess I'd like to know a little more about what he's gonna put in the, as far as commercial vehicles in the back. I mean, I think, might be helpful for us, just because of the limitations with the.
No
radius.
problem. Would you like
He said this
um,
distance was
something on the
54.8.
plan that delineates
That would be helpful.
the parking spaces so that
And
we
what
can,
he- and
we
what
can
he's looking,
show.
what he's
roughly
looking,
this,
what he's looking for, because it's pretty,
So I'm
you're pretty
getting
limited
confused as to
in the
Yep.
amount of space, so we probably should have an idea of how many vehicles he wants to put back there.
Yeah, and the
Above
size
and
of
beyond
them,
the
so
three.
that,
Yeah, that might be helpful.
that's not a problem.
I mean, if you, it's up,
Right here it says 54.8.
what do you guys trying to figure out?
No, we're trying to figure out the space rather than trying to use a pen for.
Oh, Jim, have Jim address it for you. Tell him what drawing you're looking for.
I believe you said from the, this corner of the building to here was 54.8,
Yeah, that's what it says.
right here. Yes. So that would give me to believe that this distance here is at least 54.8.
Oh, to here.
Yes.
I would say it's probably 50, from the building here is 50.
Okay, and then the emergency access that you have drawn is on this side, right here.
Correct.
Going around this way.
Like that.
So I guess what I'm trying to deduce is this at least 30 feet here.
Yeah,
With this-
based,
with
based
this
on the
being
fact
open.
that this would be, so we've got 50 feet.
Yeah, okay.
Take away 12 feet for a fire lane, still leaves us 38 feet.
And a front-end loader is how big? I don't-
Again,
Depends how big they are.
but I will,
All right. Okay. Yeah, I think we're,
Yeah, why don't you,
Yeah.
if you can lay out the number of vehicles in the
Yeah.
rear, maybe give us that distance as opposed to just the scale.
yeah,
You
no
know,
problem.
that'd be helpful. That'd be great. Unless the board has any other thoughts, maybe we could hold off on all three till we get that information instead of
Sure.
approving two and holding off on the one. We'll just
Yeah,
wait.
no, I'd rather keep
about-
everything together and
And by
just,
that time, you'll have already been before the planning board once, and you might have some more insight as to
right, because now
any changes they want.
when's your next meeting?
Our next meeting is the 18th.
Okay, so we will have been before.
Well,
no,
December
this-
18th.
you gotta
Oh,
go into
no,
January.
When's your January?
January, yeah, so
January 15th.
that's the day after the planning board.
When is he
meeting.
meeting before the planning board?
January
Oh, he's
14th.
not meeting in December.
No,
No.
no,
Oh,
January
okay.
14th.
Yeah, so,
But actuality, I mean, I know your client might, it's probably actually a good idea because we can kind of work through the peer review, also talk to the fire chief, and so some of these issues might
Right,
kind of.
may come up and have to be
Right.
addressed from the
I
planning
mean,
side of things.
if we can't meet with you on the 15th, we may have to delay it, but maybe we'll put a tentative for the 15th, and we'll go from there. We already have two
Oh.
40Bs that night, but we'll
Okay.
figure it out. All right. But yeah, if you could do those few things, that would be helpful.
Yep.
Anything else that we want to add to that? I think we're all right with the front yard. I think we're all right with the contractor headquarters, so it's really just that, the vehicle
The vehicle
storage in the
storage,
back.
okay,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So could I
Mr.
have
Chairman,
a
I have
motion?
one more question.
Oh.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sure, go ahead. Chris.
Again, Chris Henry, 30 Boardman. So the stockpile of the storage materials, all the materials that you mentioned were, sand and loam and that sort of stone. I know some turf fields, artificial ones, use like a crumb rubber. None of that will be
They do
stockpiled
not
back
do
there?
artificial fields.
Okay, perfect. So is there any way to put that in the wording that, it has to be natural materials, it can't be recycled crumb rubber or anything else, just due to the sensitivity of the well site? Thank you.
Could you ask your client if they'd be opposed to a condition like that?
I
If we could
can
impose a
definitely ask
condition
them.
A condition of what, how many vehicles in the?
that you can't have, like, it's like that plastic crumb material, I know exactly.
Yeah,
what you're
it's-
talking about.
Recycled rubber.
So,
Recycled rubber that they use for artificial
yeah,
turf fields.
because then it just washes down into the ponds and everything else,
Right.
so. The question being, if they'd be amenable to a
Right.
condition restricting that type of material.
The only
And
problem
again-
is, that condition is a condition that the ZBA doesn't get to enforce. That would be the planning board. We don't get to condition the material storage. So that would be planning board, would it not? Rich?
type of material?
Type of material?
Well, the material that's being stored there.
Let me opine on it. I don't have an answer
We're,
for it right now.
because we're, the ZBA's
Yeah,
purview is headquarters, outdoor
Yeah, that
storage,
deal. Yeah.
and of commercial vehicles in the rear and parking in the front. Ours, I don't see anything in our ZB regulations that allows us to determine material stored in his rear yard.
Outdoor storage.
So I don't think. Correct?
So the outdoor storage is
Of commercial
vehicles,
right,
not materials, yeah,
So
yeah.
that would be the planning board, I think,
Yeah.
would be taking
Yeah.
that up. So if you have that information, great, but
Yeah.
we can't condition the material. It's not our, not our purview. Correct?
I'm presuming, yes, I'm presuming they would address that. Actually, if you want it, is that the normal method to store that stuff in stockpile? Just be curious to know. Well, that's an aside for you. Never mind. Forget what I just said.
You'll have all that good information for us at our next hearing, right?
We will.
Yes. Even though we won't be addressing it. At least we'll become educated, right? All right. So could we have a motion to continue the public hearing for 7 Phillips? Is it Phillips Street or Phillips Way?
Phillips Way.
Phillips Way till the 18th,
No,
15th of January.
15th of January.
And at 7 o'clock.
I so move.
We have a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you very much.
All right, we appreciate you coming in. All right. 194 Main Street, the applicant has asked for continuation until January 15th. So could I have a motion to continue the public hearing for 194 Main Street till 7:15 on the 15th of January?
Say that again? At 7 PM,
7:15,
7:15?
yes,
Okay.
because 7 o'clock, we're going to be hearing this one again.
So moved.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any questions?
Will it be on the 15th?
Hmm?
It will be on the 15th.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. Now, I think Rich is going to discuss with us, McCarthy, the town planner, is going to discuss with us the fees for applications and advertising. Rich, the floor is yours.
No, I think I'm all right. So, if you had an opportunity to review my memo or not, but I'll just summarize what essentially the recommendation to the ZBA. So the planning board next Tuesday evening on the 10th is amending their filing fee schedule to include, or had the advertisement be in addition to the filing fee for permits before the planning board. And the purpose to do that is that the money that we would receive to segregate it can go into a revolving fund, which we could then pay directly out to the newspaper. The same, essentially the same with the ZBA right now. The advertisement fee is bundled in with the filing fee. The advertisement fees for the public hearing notices roughly run between $250 to upwards of maybe $280 for the public hearing notice to be put in the paper. So when it comes to the filing fee for the ZBA, we're well in the hole as far as the fees go. And that, the filing fee, that $300, you've already consumed it with just the advertisement as it is. So what I'm recommending is just to add, so the $300 fee will remain the same, but have the advertisement on top of that. So the $300 fee would be the filing fee going to the town. The advertisement cost be borne by the applicant, which would come in through the revolving account, and then pay directly to the Sun Chronicle. And that's and the reason why is we have a printing and advertisement budget within the department. We have planned out $4,000, and we're already with the projects before the ZBA, the planning board, and we had to do some printing and then add in some changes to the rules. We're already up against the budget. So we need to be able to, by making this change, the printing and advertisement will be just really borne by cost for the town. You know, if we have to change regulations or put a hearing notice in the paper for zoning bylaw changes, it wouldn't be related to projects anymore. And this practice is already being done with the Conservation Commission, so we're trying to catch ourselves up with them.
How does this compare to, let's say, our abutting towns, Medfield and Rentham? How do they handle this?
You know, I couldn't tell you how,
Or Walpole or Franklin or?
yeah, I don't know how they actually, to be honest with you, how they handle it. Whether they have it bundled in
I just,
with the,
but my question is more of our fees. We shouldn't lose money, okay, of course, but our
Right.
fees should be similar, I would think, to the abutting towns. All right, so and if that's the way the abutting towns do it, that's a strong argument to that's the way we should do it. If the abutting towns say that, you know, we incorporate everything and we have a flat fee and their fees are 600 instead of 300, then I would say, why aren't we looking at it that way? Okay? I just think we should reach out and just find out what they do. If I'm a developer and I'm doing sites in Rentham and Medfield and Walpole and Franklin, it should be pretty standard. And maybe they're all totally different, I don't know, but I just think we should know that, Rich.
Well, why don't you explain, Rich, what the filing fee is for, separate from the advertising fee?
sure. So you want me to walk it through what we have today and then as it would be changed, maybe
Well,
that
We
way?
know it, I'm breaking this into 2 points. We're gonna
Yeah.
basically pull the advertising out of the filing fee.
Correct.
So let's take that as, and the advertising fee is something we don't control. It's controlled by the Sun Chronicle.
Correct. Yep.
So if it's 250,
All right, so I'll go back to the fee.
So go back to the fee.
All right,
Why
so-
don't you explain that?
Fast forward, you make this change. The $300 fee would be for the mailings that get sent to the abutters for the hearing in the beginning. This decision gets sent out. It would cover administrative cost for Amy to handle the permit, processing it, and then also would include my time or other staff time that would be involved with reviewing applications. So it's really to kind of help reimburse the town related to the costs associated with the permit. So, that being said, we looked at $300 as, if you take the ad costs, or excuse me, the mailing cost, and then you add on top of the processing, the decision-making, the final with the clerk, that $300 is a reasonable fee for that work associated with it. That work also includes corresponding with you as the board, with the public, and so forth. The reason why we're structured it this way, moving in this direction, is that from a budget standpoint, we cannot predict how many applications come in through the office. So we have, like I said, we've allocated $4,000 for printing and advertising costs, but we've already come up with so many applications that we're in the hole. So when the filing fee comes in to the town, it goes into the general fund presently, and we don't get it back through the department, so we end up being in a hole. And the lion's share right now, the fee cost is the advertisement. Going to the new method, we would have the money come in, or the ad, they would pay that separately. We pay out the Sun Chronicle. So if those rates change, we don't need to change our fee. As advertisement costs adjust and so forth, we've segregated out from our filing fee.
So it's a pass-through.
Yeah, it's a pass-through.
So in effect, the developer's not getting a bill from the Sun Chronicle, he's still getting a bill from the town of Norfolk, correct?
Yeah, yeah. It's just that we don't have to,
But,
we can now, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's a pass-through.
that-
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
does that help a little bit?
Yeah, definitely, okay. I was thinking that I'm gonna have to, in some towns I deal with the town, and in other towns I have to deal with the Sun Chronicle and the town, so you're telling me.
No, it's all processed through the town, it's just that we would have that money, we could pay the Sun Chronicle from our revolving account.
Then our relationship to other towns is not as significant at all, so.
Yeah.
What are our mailings roughly, anyway, what on average, or Rich, what do we spend for a mailing roughly?
Well, it
Typical, I mean,
depends.
it's hard because everyone's different.
It's hard, like when we do meeting house, you have 100 abutters, you know,
So,
or more,
yeah.
so that's a lot. Phillips Way has about 5 abutters. I don't know what an average is, maybe
Okay.
30-ish. So times a sheet of paper, an envelope, postage, time. It adds up. And then, yeah, same for the decision. And the decision sometimes are weightier and require more postage.
Any questions, Evan? Josie?
Just a question on, will this create a administrative nightmare for you? If you charge a $300 filing fee, and then you charge the pass-through for the publication, somebody comes in, do they leave a blank check for the publication because they vary, and then you account for that? Or-
The way we currently do it with the Conservation Department is, and for all boards right now, when we send an ad to the paper, they respond back with a proof and the cost. And what we do with the Conservation Department is just tell the applicant, this is what your cost is gonna be, please bring a check to the next
Okay.
meeting.
Good.
And it's not
Mhm.
a problem.
Good. All right, so are you looking for us to approve this evening? Is that what you'd like us to do?
Well, look, to approve it in concept, then we'll have to have, excuse me, a public hearing to amend the fee schedule. Excuse me, which I think we're hoping you could do it on January 15th.
No way,
But,
no way.
Well, that was my hope coming into tonight, but I understand that,
We
the
don't,
meeting after that?
we don't actually have to vote on this, do we? to
Yeah, we
approve
do
it,
it.
do
We
we?
have to- we'll have to
Yeah,
public
we'll have
hearing
the
and then
full-
we'll actually approve
yeah.
it.
At a yeah, but I meant tonight.
No, we don't have to approve it tonight.
Just
Tonight was
have-
just in concept.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's blessed, so we advertise it.
I mean, we could put it on, I mean, it could be a late night, Rich, but we could put it on for the 15th if you want.
Well, it's like,
You think
you
you'll
know,
be ready for it?
I'm already out, so
So we'll
that's
put it on
okay.
for the 15th.
For me.
All right,
I don't know about the
Yeah.
board, but I mean,
Public hearing.
yeah.
I'm gonna extend that meeting.
Among the applications we do get, it does make sense to start to cover our costs,
Yes.
because it's getting costly.
I just moved the time in my calendar from 7 to 11. so.
Yeah, that's all. Good, Rich, thank you. All right,
All right.
all right. We have a couple of minutes to review, so let's do those, and then we can decide if we want to deliberate any of these minutes. You're all set, Rich?
Yes,
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank you.
So we have October 30th, meeting minutes. motion to approve the meeting minutes of October 30th.
So moved.
For a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Amy, the only thing I noticed is the bottom of page 2 of 4. Believe it or not, turnaround for buses, it is one S, not two S's.
Oh, okay.
Even though the dictionary actually shows it both ways, but I guess for some reason BUSS is not appropriate.
Well, all right,
So it's buses with one S.
okay.
All right.
It's a grammar
All those
lesson
in
of the day.
favor?
Said the grammar lesson of the day.
Yes. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, let's look at the 11-6.
Like fuses, like fuses.
Yes, there you go. Very good. It just looked funny, so I had to go looking it up. There's a little listen behind it. It's interesting. All set. Motion to approve the November 6th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So is it the board's purview to review 34 Mass Ave? Would you like to do that?
Yes.
Get that done?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it.
And I guess I'm gonna have to write it up, so I'm gonna have to
You are
take some.
going to have to
I'm
write it
gonna have
out.
to take.
Yes, you are the clerk.
I need to take some copious notes.
You do. You do.
Do we have the application?
You do. No. That's it.
Do you need it?
No, I think we can. I think you can. See all the information.
I can put it up on the screen if that helps.
Do you have that? Yeah, that'd be great. No further.
You want the appendix?
First, start with his, right there.
Okay.
So we're gonna start with finding of facts?
Correct. So, first finding of fact is that we have a non-conforming pre-existing home, 15 feet from the property line, or from the open space property line,
15.4.
15.4, yes. Very good, Kevin. I was
Is
doing it
that
in
15.24, is that?
15.4.
15.4.
1.5, actually, but we'll go 15.4. That's the existing. We have a proposed three-season porch. That will be 25 feet from the open space, which is still non-conforming, but less non-conforming than the existing home.
The funny fact that they said that it would start from the edge of the existing house.
Correct.
would not extend beyond that.
Right, hence 25 feet, right. Yep. I guess the finding of fact is the minimum building setback, according to H2F3, is 30 feet. Which is why they're here.
What is that, H2,
H2F3.
F3?
Right. And again, they applied under F4A because it's a non-conforming property. So even though table E1B doesn't talk to this, it's in our zoning, it's the only place where this non-conforming property can be approved, is through our F4A. It is, the structure's going to be, does not have a foundation, and will be roughly 18 by 16. No full foundation, I think that's what we'd say, right? No full foundation. We'll have piers, but I would say
Yeah.
no full foundation. And it'll be approximately 18 by 15,
16.
16 by 18. You actually have the criteria. Do you want to read the criteria down while you're there?
Sure.
It's on 2 pages down.
Yep.
Yep, go ahead.
Use must be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the bylaw.
Okay.
Which,
Yes?
which.
You can
use
answer what
is-
the applicant has written down, yeah.
Applicant's saying the use is in harmony with the general purpose of the bylaw. The use is in the appropriate location and is not detrimental to the neighborhood and does not significantly alter the character of the zoning district. Inappropriate location does not alter the character of the zoning district. Adequate and approved facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. And the answer is just yes, but we're talking about a 3-season porch here. The proposed use would not be detrimental or offensive to the adjoining zoning districts and neighboring properties due to the effects of lighting, odors, smoke, noise, sewage, refuge materials, visual or other nuisances. And what is proposed would not affect any of that. The proposed use would not cause undue traffic congestion in the immediate area. And a proper site plan has been filed with the planning board, and a proper number of copies submitted to the application for the special permit to the Board of Appeals, yes. And it's consistent with the 1992 master plan, and as most recently updated.
You gotta get rid of that.
I'll get that tomorrow.
Gotta get rid of
I'll
that.
get it tomorrow.
It's 1996?
No,
I'm not sure, is it 2006?
2007.
I'm not
Two-
really sure.
I know there's a 6 in there.
2010?
Is it? Okay.
I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
I'll update the applications.
also another finding fact would be that it's 99 feet. In reference to the drawing, but it's 99 feet to the corner of the proposed addition to the rear setback. Anything else have any other findings or facts?
Do we differentiate in our bylaws additions that do not have foundations versus those that have, so a deck is a deck, screen porch,
No.
as if it's on, it doesn't make any difference.
Doesn't make a difference.
I just ran into this in another town.
Good. Amy, can you blow up his drawing again? Just wanna- What is that? Can you blow it up even more? I'm just trying to see what's to the left of his proposed. It's, okay, so it's a little deck, and then go up,
Oh, up
go down a
there?
little bit.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So Don, maybe a finding of fact is this, what is that? It's a
Concrete pad for.
concrete
for hot
pad for a
tub.
concrete pad for a hot tub. Okay, so you could say is, it will, to the left is an existing concrete pad for hot tub and an existing, and I guess the deck would be new as well, but again,
We don't know that the concrete pad is new or existing.
I think he said that was existing.
Did he?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah, but he didn't say, I don't think the steps, the deck steps, looks like it's proposed as well.
It might be existing if there was a hot tub there.
But well, he says there's a hot tub, but it says concrete pad for hot tub. Does he have a hot
Right.
tub?
Well, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking the deck was already there with
Maybe
the.
We could say that the deck and there is a deck and a concrete pad to the
Right.
left, pre-existing.
They appear to be within the setbacks.
Yeah.
So right now, they're just self-standing by themselves without
Right.
the
Right.
addition.
Right.
I could see why he would want the addition, maybe it's kind of lights
Yeah.
up a little bit.
And that's conforming to our, to setback.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I think he is in the R, is it R3? I think it says the R3 district.
In
Look at the top.
The notice of hearing.
map 16,
R3,
block 34.
R3 zoning district, yep. So
Where do you
it's
see
in the
that?
R3 zoning
Where do you see
district.
that?
It's actually on the application, notice of public hearing.
That's what I'm looking at.
No, the notice of hearing.
Notice of public hearing.
Oh,
So
I'm
it's
sorry.
in the R3 zoning district.
Okay.
Okay. And you can actually put down the map.
Yep, I include that.
Okay. All right, anything else on this? Anything else, Devin?
I know we referenced the open space, but did we reference that it's 162.3 feet from what appears to be a residential lot?
No, but we could actually reference the map, that's what I,
Yeah,
earlier,
oh,
just
okay.
reference the
Yeah.
map. And do we have a, official copy of this map, or just? is there an official
I would
copy?
assume there's one in here.
No, that we can-
That's what we have.
That's all we have. All right, so we should sign one of these and give it to you as well, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
It's not in here?
there's one in there, it's
That's
not
it.
attached.
but it's the same thing, there's not an
There you
official,
go.
is that a?
Right, right,
Yep.
yeah, it's just.
And you can reference that,
Look,
okay? Here you go, Don. So, yeah, we'll reference that. All right. Seeing no other finding of facts, could I get a motion?
are
go
are there
ahead.
any special provisions or
Condition?
conditions? Yes.
Lighting would obviously be that all lighting would focus on the property, even though he is open space to the right, but there is a lot to the left side.
Okay,
So lighting would obviously,
would stay on the property, yep.
right? Typically, we say that the, a dumpster should be removed within 30 days.
I got a question. Do we define what it means by lighting being on the property?
As far as lumens or anything, or?
Yeah.
I think in our bylaws it does reference, yeah,
Okay.
the amount of lighting, the intensity, yes.
Curious.
And I'm just curious, how are you describing open space? Is it conservation land, space that is, land that's just not built on? What's open space? What are you exactly?
It's actually, well, Tim, do you want to, because you abut it, don't you, actually, on your property as well?
I'm close to that one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was I don't know what year that subdivision one, but that was an open space subdivision.
Right,
So to split hairs and say it's conservation or recreation,
Just curious, like, is it just?
it's actually when the contractor or developer builds it out, ideally, at some point, it is deeded to the town. This property is a little bit different in that this open space is still in court because the developer went bankrupt. So the town doesn't have, is not deeded to the town yet, so, but it's being referred to as when they built out the development, it was considered open space, which means it could be recreation, could be conservation at some point, but it's given to the town, deeded to the town, hopefully, and we go from there, okay?
So special conditions, we've got the lighting, we've got the dumpster.
Dumpsters. I don't think there's, I don't see anything else that would be in this case.
Okay.
No? Anything else? Anything else? Nope. All right. So, Don, would you want to make a motion to approve the special permit?
Whoops, no. Looking at Phillips Way.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
because we only have 3 full members, I think that technically you should designate one or the other as the 4th.
I think since Tim has a little bit more seniority, would you like to be the 4th vote this evening? Okay. So Tim Martin will be the 4th voting member.
So I am making a motion to approve. To grant, am I correct? In the affirmative, I'm making a motion in the
Motion to
affirmative,
grant.
or am I making a motion for a decision?
No, you make a motion to grant.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I hereby make a motion to grant the approval for Cynthia and Glenn Woodford Jensen for a special permit pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 48-9, as amended, Section F4A of the zoning bylaws to allow for the alteration or enlargement of an existing non-conforming structure which does violate the setback coverage or height requirements of the Norfolk zoning bylaws H2, F3, but does not violate those requirements to a greater extent than the original structure. The property is located at 34 Massachusetts Avenue, Assessors Map 16, Block 34, Lot 265, in the R3 zoning district, and is adjacent to the open space parcel of a subdivision.
Very good. So there's a motion to grant. Tim?
Second?
Nope, this would be, no, well, actually, you see second, okay, you can second it, okay. Okay, motion to grant?
Yes.
Okay. Motion to grant?
Yes to grant.
Yes to grant.
Yes to grant.
Okay. Very good.
I will write that up.
Write that up, have it ready for Amy tomorrow, Don?
Whatever you say, boss.
You actually may want that to help you.
Yeah, I don't know, Amy, can I take this? Is that, or do you, do I really? Let me just take a look.
Do we have any other business at this
Have
moment?
it all electronically if you want it.
Do you have anything else for you?
No.
Kim?
Do I have it
Nothing.
electronically? Did you send it already? All I need is the application, right?
I'm not sure it's in tomorrow. You probably have it from when I first.
Well, I can tell you if I have it right now.
Don, anything else for you?
Nothing for me, sir.
Okay. Do I have a motion to close the public hearing, or the hearing for the ZBA for December 4th at 8:20 PM?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you, Chris.